This sea creature can literally reverse its own aging. It doesn't just live long, it resets life like it's hitting new game on a PlayStation. Let's dive into the Immortal Jellyfish and the implications it might have for us. These guys were discovered in the Mediterranean Sea. Back in 1880, they about the size of your pinky nail and look pretty forgettable. But here's the kicker. When it gets injured, sick, or just tired of life, it doesn't die. Instead, it morphs back into a baby. Literally like pressing rewind on even. Now that doesn't mean it goes back to being an egg. It's more like going from an old dude to a spry young lad. It starts shrinking and its bill and tentacles recede. Then new ones pop up and it swims away looking like a totally different creature. But after a week or so, it ends up right back where it started, fully grown and ready to do it all over again. And while we're still figuring out exactly how it does this, the leading hypothesis is called transdifferentiation. That's like your liver cells deciding they'd rather be brain cells now. Normally, cells have a set destiny, skin cells stay skin cells. But the immortal jellyfish turns its adult cells back into stem cells, which can then turn into any other kind of cell, which is bananas because normally, you lose those abilities as you get older. In fact, Toratopsis dohrnii can keep doing this over and over forever, or at least until it runs out of food. That makes it potentially immortal. Like, if it doesn't die of old age, it can keep restarting its biological clock. So what's the secret? We don't know yet, but it seems to be written into its genes. In 2022, a study found that one gene specifically seemed to be involved in the process. A gene called You see, every time the jellyfish goes through its zygote stage, the gene switches off. And when that happens, its cells can't make telomeres, which is an enzyme that keeps adding DNA. If you don't know what a telomere is, gosh. It is basically a protective DNA section at the end of your chromosomes that keeps them from getting damaged. Think of it like the plastic tips on a shoelace. The shorter the telomere, the faster you age. And the longer the telomere, the slower you age. Pretty neat. Telomeres can also help us understand why we age. Every time a cell divides, its telomeres get a little shorter. When they get too short, the cell can't divide anymore. It ages and dies. It's like hitting the retirement home stage of life. So having an enzyme that keeps adding DNA to telomeres basically lets cells keep dividing without hitting retirement. And that's why researchers think the mTOR gene plays such a big role in the immortality of the jellyfish. Once it switches off, the countdown to death begins. But when the gene switches back on, the countdown stops. Now scientists are watching closely. Could this unlock secrets for human anti-aging? Maybe not anytime soon. There are other factors at play in our aging process than just telomere. But understanding the jellyfish's genetic off-switch for aging could change medicine, organ regrowth, even cancer treatment. Cancer cells, as it turns out, have figured out how to switch that gene back on, and are basically immortal. So if we can figure out how to flip that switch ourselves, we could maybe turn off cancer cells' immortality. But before you start blending jellyfish into smoothies for eternal youth, let me stop you. Immortality isn't the same as invincibility. The jellyfish can still be eaten, squished, or wiped out by pollution, which is, let's be real, kind of comforting, honestly. So the next time you feel like time's moving too fast, just remember, somewhere in the ocean, a jellyfish just hit restart on life. Again.